Greetings to one and moreover to all, and I've got a message here from a viewer, Osbert Real Person, who says, "Dear Pete, I very much admire the tough integrity with which you disregarded the consensus and praised that Sean Penn film he did with his daughter, which everyone else was slagging off. Do you ever feel lonely in sticking to your convictions like this, or is there a kind of magnificent principle, like Superman in his Fortress of Solitude?" Well, you know what, thanks for that, Osbert. Good point. On now to Cyrano, about a story whose classic status has always baffled the jeepers out of me. The tale of Cyrano de Bergerac, the gallant swordsman, poet and soldier in 17th century France, with an unfunnily phallic big nose, who is in love with a lady, who is in love with one of Cyrano's comrades. So poor, tragically self-effacing Cyrano offers to ghostwrite this man's love letters to her. It was originally an 1897 stage play by Edmond Rostand, and adapted for the cinema a bunch of times, with Gérard Depardieu in 1990, and before that Steve Martin in 1987. Now it has been filmed again, this time with Peter Dinklage in the lead role, the fearless man of integrity, deeply in love from afar with Roxanne, his secret hometown sweetheart, who of course knows nothing of his adoration, and a man with himself very high standards in the matter of literature, theatre, and acting.
Cyrano.
Pleasure to meet you, Cyrano de Bergerac.
You're a freak. Freak.
I myself am a Cyrano agnostic or an out-and-out Cyrano atheist in that I've never found Cyrano with his big nose either funny or dramatically interesting. But now I have to admit, the casting of Peter Dinklage, the screenplay is in fact by Dinklage's wife Erica Schmidt, does in fact solve the big nose problem by abolishing it. Dinklage's nose is of normal size. His problem is his height, or more specifically, society's attitude to his height. So it is entirely plausible that he would be poignantly self-conscious about something that feels much realer and more sympathetic than a silly fake nose. I don't think I'm ever really going to get behind the Cyrano legend, but Peter Dinklage does have real charisma and presence. This week sees the 50th anniversary re-release of The Godfather from director Francis Ford Coppola and screenwriter-novelist Mario Puzo, and of course the film's own godfather, producer Robert Evans. Marlon Brando was legendary as Vito Corleone, the Italian-American gang boss who in 1946 loses control of his turf by refusing to have anything to do with the new trade in heroin. And Al Pacino is magnificent in his own way as his favourite son Michael, the decorated World War II veteran who initially wants nothing to do with the family business, but winds up submitting to his dark destiny as the only Corleone son with the strategic ruthlessness to do the job, famously becoming a godfather to his sister's child, while, on his orders, all the rival capi are being horribly slain.
Oremus, Precious Nosus, per Christum Domine Nostrum. Amen. Michael, Crucis Domine, impressiones signatum, or the magnitudinous gloria tua rudimenta servans, per custodia mandatorum tuorum, ad regenerationis gloriam pervenire meriatur, per quiendum Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. Oremus, omnipotens sempiterne Deus, Pater Domini nostri Iesu Christi respice dignatus super hanc fabulum tuum, Michael, qui venturus est judicari vivus et mortus in saeculum perennium. Amen. Michael, accipe sal sapiense propitiasse si tibi in vitam aeternam. Amen. Deus omnipotens Pater Domini nostri Iesu Christi, qui Dei regenerabit atque Spiritus Sancti, qui de tebi tibi remissionem omnium peccatorum, iste te lineat Chrisma te salutis in eodum Christo Iesu Domine nostrum, in vitam aeternam. Amen. Ego te lineolio salutis in Christo Iesu Domine nostrum, rabias vitam aeternam. Amen.
It's an amazing, epic film, often described as Shakespearean, though really without the comic or ironic elements that Shakespeare would have put in there, although Shakespeare might have enjoyed Michael's island exile in Sicily and the mention of Syracuse. There is so much pure genius in this film, the inspired musical score by Nino Rota, the production design by Dean Tavoularis, Marlon Brando raising a hierophantic forefinger like a cardinal or the Pope, while people murmur secret things into his ear. And of course that sensational opening scene, the wedding of the Don's daughter, a scene with more energy, life and detail than most entire films. A classic, probably the greatest classic of the American New Wave. In conclusion, I have to say I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I wonder if Pete is doing any online Zoom events, accessible to cinephiles the world over, to promote his book, The Films That Made Me, an edited selection of his essays and reviews for The Guardian. The answer is yes. On Tuesday the 8th of March, I'm doing a talk with clips for the Highgate Literary and Scientific Institution, and I've given the link below. Now I have to remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because basically that's your only path back to self-respect. Be seeing you.